Hi there. Welcome to Carteret COnnects. This is our 60th episode.
We're getting old.
Together. I know we are getting old. Actually, I was referred to as not a spring chicken any longer last week by a dear old lady.
You didn't understand the reference, did you?
No, I did understand it. Right? I knew perfectly what it meant, but I didn't think it applied to me. This old hag in Swansboro. Not hag. This old lady, Mary Ellen Yannick, called me. She's a good friend of mine. She knows what I'm talking about. She'll never watch this because she doesn't have a computer and she doesn't know how to operate.
Oh, wow.
So,
really?
Yeah. She goes to the library in Swansboro and uses it, but she will never get this far. Deep inside.
This is a deep dive.
The old hag. You called me no, I'm not a spring chicken.
This is a deep dive to get to Facebook.
For her, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she made a comment that she wanted to pass along a comment to a commissioner in Swansboro, and they said, "Well, why don't you come to the meeting?" And she said, "I can't." Well, he said, "Just shoot me an email." She's there. "Oh, easy for you to say. I don't have a computer." And he's there. "Come on, Mary Ellen, we got to drag you into the 21st century."
Does she have a phone?
She's like my mom in the sense that she has a cell phone, doesn't know how to work it.
Oh,
She
okay.
has it, and it's probably a flip phone. We should give it to Richard.
Yeah, no, my mom's
Richard
the same way. My
Well,
mom.
my mom knows. My mom has a fancy laptop.
Uh-huh.
She probably hasn't turned it on in 3 years.
My dad is fairly sound with technology, and he bought her a new top-end phone on, I send her a link and she don't know what to do with it. You know, that sort of thing.
You're real tech savvy.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. But
I'm really not.
That thing versus mine here.
Well, yeah, yours just looks like you threw it down.
I haven't. I've just had it for like.
Yeah,
I've had it
but
for
you
a
take
while.
care of stuff.
I
do
I
envy
do.
that about you. Your car.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had that for what? How old's that car?
Oh my god! It's a 2007 Sport Truck. I didn't buy it new.
So
I think I bought
13
it
years.
I bought it in 10, I think, maybe 10.
13 years, but you got a job that required a lot of driving.
Drive it, and
So I mean,
I've
that's
driven
something.
from here to the moon.
I mean, I had
Seriously,
mine
I
for
got
3 years.
245,000 miles on it.
3 years, and I need another one.
Yeah.
One before that
I
lasted
drive a
2
lot.
years.
Well, I drive a lot too. I drive like 50 miles a day. But it was funny because they were talking about the full moon tomorrow, the blue moon,
Oh, really?
and it's the furthest it will be from Earth in its cycle every 12 months. You know, sometimes that super moon is real close.
Now, is the moon every twice a year? Is that the way it works? You know what I'm talking about?
Two retards here talking.
Yeah. Two morons. If you know, help us out.
The moon, you get a full moon every month, every 28 days.
Okay, so the moon circles around
it's
the
with
Earth
us.
every 30 days, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And it stays with us as we circle around the sun.
And we do circle around the sun every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But every planet is different because their rotation is longer or shorter.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Mercury is real
pretty
it's
quick.
close. It's
Whereas
so
Pluto,
it's like a year in Jupiter.
Pluto's not a planet anymore, I don't think. But yeah.
Now you got me thinking. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Neptune takes a really long time to go around the sun because it's got a big orbit.
No,
Does that sound accurate?
No.
No.
Saturn does. Saturn and Jupiter. It's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
I used to know the little letter thing. I don't know it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But yeah, it's Mercury.
It's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
Mars is after us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so they're years.
My astronomy professor's bad right now. And to full disclosure, I only took astronomy at ECU because it was at night and there were a lot of girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I remember. I do remember where the North Star is.
And I bet you people know that the Earth is the third planet from the sun because of the TV show.
Well, actually, I was doing that in my head when you were
Right,
talking
from the
about
south. No, but so anyway, they were saying the Earth, the moon is going to be the furthest away from the Earth with this full moon coming up on Saturday, and it's like 245,000 miles from Earth. And I looked down at my odometer, and it's like my car is about to turn 246,000. So I've driven from here to the moon. Yeah. Now I gotta come back.
Yeah, now you gotta get back.
The honeymooners to the moon.
It's like Apollo 13 now.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Can you imagine being in your car and just being able to and then go, just fly.
I'm highly
like the
disappointed
Jetsons.
that it's not like the Jetsons.
Yeah.
I fully thought that we'd have that by now.
Briefcase.
Yeah.
The briefcase would turn into your car, and you'd turn back into your briefcase when you
That's
come home.
right. I'm fully disappointed.
Did you ever carry a briefcase?
No, that's never really been my
I
thing.
did. I had a briefcase, and then I went to a soft pouch, a leather pouch in DC.
Yeah,
It was nice. I liked it.
I'm not a briefcase kind of person. Sort of like cowboy boots and me.
Those are going out. I mean, when I started in sales in
the silver ones that look like you're working for narcos.
Yeah.
or back in apparently. But yeah.
I had a nice leather pouch, and
some of them were really nice,
and it lasted forever. I finally threw it out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. It was hard to do. It was like, gone, But back in the '90s, you were, out in the street and you had your briefcase.
I think the laptops changed that a little bit.
They did.
Because you got
what was confusing for us was the transition, and I'm not one to be the first one to grab onto like, hey, got a car phone,
Right.
Which meant they actually bolted the car phone in the car. I had an 1987 Mercury.
That's right. You're
I was
right.
driving an '87 Mercury Cougar, and we had pagers. They started us on that pagers, and we had a one office cell phone that was about that big. It was in the bag, right? And if we got on, we would go on a call, and it was hard to use. It was impossible. Then they said, guys, you're all going to get car phones. And you actually had to take it to a shop, and they had to drill holes in your car with the antenna in the back, right?
Yeah.
You screw down that little squirrely antenna, and then the car phone sat right in the center console.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that was cool.
Yeah.
Because you all felt, now this is 1992, so we're about 10 years, well, when Miami Vice came out, because they had a car phone.
Well,
and I loved driving around DC,
on your car
with
phone.
my car phone, in my '87 Mercury Cougar, which was a good looking. I mean, it was too nice for me.
My father was
cassette player.
My father was on the front end of all that stuff. We had a cell phone. 83. Yeah,
That was old.
Yeah.
So I didn't want the car phone. I got it. I loved it. And they said, okay, guys,
no more.
we're going away from the car phone. You're all going to get flip phones.
Yeah.
No, they were hard. It was like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flip phone.
Yeah,
It was one
it was
unit.
like a Nokia.
It was one unit, and
Yep.
it was a phone.
Right.
That's all you did. You talked, and then that's when it all just quickly.
Now
then flipped, and then they started doing text, but you had to like
do 3 letters.
Yeah. It's like,
Have you seen the new phone? Brand new.
no. What do you think?
It's a flip phone, but it's like this. If you went like that, so when you open it, it's a full screen. Or you can have the bottom part be the numbers and all that. Mm-hmm. They're getting there, man. What I've been waiting for is basically what we were just talking about with the Jetsons. When I can hit my phone and it go boop, and I got a full on, that's what
they always said. They always said back in the day with newspapers, they said, the print edition's going to be gone by the wayside, and what you're going to have is something like this, just scrolling the news, and you're like, how are they going to get all of this on that? All of this.
And they've done it.
Yeah, and they did it. I mean, it's on here. This. Goodbye.
I mean, kids don't even read print anything hardly anymore.
No.
I mean, shoot, their books are all on the computer now for school and everything else.
Yeah, and it shows sometimes in their writing too, as far as
they don't teach them to write.
Yeah, and they don't. I mean, not that it matters. I guess it doesn't.
Their
matter.
handwriting
is atrocious, but they don't use punctuation or periods or question marks.
Yeah, that's social media.
Yeah,
that's the ingrained on that.
But
I catch myself doing that because I frequent Twitter for sports conversations, and I don't use any punctuation and I use all these abbreviations that aren't even real. We'll say this though, my dad does it. Really? I guess he's just trying to be
the kid at heart.
Yeah, and he'll use these. I'm like, what does that even mean? And he'll say, oh, it's like a sentence, but he made it each letter. So it's like RFFG or something.
GTFO.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he'll say it. And I'm like, that's not even a thing. That's not even a thing, Dad. Come on now.
Well, we had an interesting conversation this morning on Coastal.
Yeah, for Halloween.
Actually, Coastal Daybreak.
Yep.
Right. On Coastal Daybreak this morning at 6:30, and it was a story that your reporter Zach Neely did on this paranormal group.
API
out of Swansboro. Where are we here?
Apparition Paranormal Investigation.
Yeah, API. So once you say it once, then I just went to API.
Yeah.
But they're based out of Swansboro. But for 2 years, they've been doing cases in and around the area of people
real life
Ghostbusters in the area. So they were. I mean, they're hardcore, very serious about it, and I thought it was interesting too. This image they have on the front page. This is from the current edition of the Tideland News, available where newspapers are sold in and around the Swansboro area. They said, I said, I recognize that picture where you were standing. I said, I live not too far from there. That's Hammock Beach State Park, and as you drive in the entranceway to the park, that's the tree line against on the right hand side. And they said, do you ever feel anything when you walk through there? And I said, yeah, all the time, because I'm usually trespassing and I'm trying to scrap metal with my dog Casey. But they said that tree that's right there has a lot of history behind it and is throwing off a lot of energy. So whatever. They said in part, you have to watch the interview. It's on our Facebook page on Coastal Daybreak. But be cautious. This is them talking. I'm not. This is not me speaking. Be cautious when you bring home like an antique from an antique shop because it could bring in.
There's a whole movie about that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, geez, I wonder if I take like a tree limb home from one of these trees here to burn in my outdoor fireplace.
Oh yeah, you're going up in smoke, brother.
What would happen?
Yeah, they're not gonna be thrilled with you.
I might take a little branch that's on the ground, you know.
Well, I'll say this to that, and we're gonna throw out all rationality, okay? As a sports person.
Superstition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend does not understand any of that. Like, I'm like, I can't move right now. What are you talking about? She doesn't get it. So, from a superstition standpoint, I can kind of relate to some of this, whether it's true or not.
So, on a particular game you might be watching, if you like the Cowboys, you have a Cowboys
no help
jersey.
this year,
You
but
have a
yeah.
Cowboys jersey on.
Yeah, then that's the one you wear next time.
You
Right?
know, when I played baseball,
Same size.
even in intramural baseball, you wouldn't, when you walk off the field or walk on the field, you wouldn't step
over
over
the
the
lines,
chalk, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
things like if a pitcher's got no hitter, you don't talk about it. You don't talk to him or nothing.
No, what about what in basketball? What superstitions are there in basketball?
Oh, everybody's got their own. I mean, like I said, I wore the same socks if I played well. Things of that nature.
What about like in practice? Would you like if you were shooting 100 free throws and that 100th one clanks off the rim?
Yeah,
Shoot another one until it goes in.
Yeah, mine was
go out on that.
mine was I had to make 3 in a row before I walked off the court.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody's
I don't
got
know,
something.
if that's superstition or that's just like, okay, I'm going to do 1, 2,
I
3.
I refer back to Bull Durham. If you believe that you're playing well because you're wearing ladies' underwear, then you're playing well because you're wearing ladies' underwear. Simple as that. If you believe it, it's probably true.
You know, it was for a while there. You saw the PGA golfers and some good.
Oh, you know they're
golfers
superstitious.
wearing the copper bracelets. You know, because they're drawing energy from the earth, and you don't see a lot of that anymore out there. But I'll tell you what, the gentlemen that were in here from API,
They believe it.
They had all kinds of different glass and beads around their wrist, and it's to protect them. Their words, protect them. And they said like this piece here cracked. We were at a case, and the energy was so strong that it cracked this glass bead around.
I'm curious. Has anybody ever had ghosts?
Yeah, have you had ghosts?
Something paranormal.
Because you won't buy an old house.
No, I will not.
Now, is it because of what, like, there's old pipes, the repair work, or
no?
You think there's spirits in there?
Yes. I look, as I tried to explain to you, I'm not going to say I believe, but I'm not going to say I don't either. And I just will not buy. I will not live in an old house. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Particularly out in the country.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would be interested. I mean, you know, having said this, and they believed all. If I went back to my house in Allentown, I was delivered there from the hospital practically in '61. My mother still lives there. What if my dad's back there? You know, that's all he knew.
Yeah.
You know, and he loved to sleep.
Yeah.
You know? Seriously, I mean, he spent so many hours up in the bedroom and taking like 4-hour naps, and then 12 hours during the night. He loved to sleep. I mean, wouldn't that be weird? Like if I'm walking, it's a twin. It's a duplex.
Right.
Twins. And it's a basement and then 2 levels. But in the front bedroom, that was their bedroom. If I walk in there and there's like see my dad. And
right.
Like,
Take your cat there and see if she looks at something funny.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You think cats might have that more than dogs do?
Yes. I think dogs probably sense it. Just my general feeling is that cats are kind of half in, half out. They see what they see different. Put it that way. I think it's something to do with the light and all that.
Well,
but they see different stuff.
Yeah.
The scientific explanation is they see different stuff. Light.
They got great eyesight.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I catch mine all the time, just staring at nothing. There's nothing there.
Well, no, to you, there's nothing.
And if it was just one of them, you'd go, okay, cat's stupid. But no.
But they could, so the person that doesn't believe in the paranormal would say, and like our friend Lindell K,
right?
He always would explain it rationally. He said, Richard, what your cat's probably looking at is a small cobweb in the corner,
right? And
it could be,
well
or
true.
a small bug crawling down.
That's
the wall.
right, or maybe we just don't realize that cats see, I don't know, sound wave or something. You know what I mean? We don't know.
We should have done this last Thursday when we had Dr. Todd Worrell from Pet Docs in here. to
see what they actually see.
Can dogs or cats, sense a ghost in a room?
Well, I guess it goes to this: do you believe that dogs or cats can sense if a person is not good or not? And if you believe that, how much of a stretch is it to go to the next step? You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Well, I think yes to the dogs, and you've had more cats than I've had cats, but let's just put them on the same plane. I remember a woman when I was growing up. Her name was Pearl Brader, and she had this old lab, and to say it was old, it was probably about 12 or 13, but to a young kid, that it was double my age. But Pearl, when I brought my golden retriever home from college, Sheila, we brought Pearl over to us because in our estimation, she was a dog whisperer.
Right.
She had this old Rusty was his name, and she's seen Sheila, and next to me, and she's there. She knows that you're a dog lover. Dogs know good people.
Right.
And I think they sense the body language of you.
Yeah.
If you ever got
that's the scientific
if
version.
you ever got tense or really with Daisy, with the times you had to scold her or I had to scold Monty or Sheila, they know.
Right.
They cower.
That's
but
right.
the times when you're just loving them, they're your best friend.
And that's the scientific
Cats are a little
explanation.
different. If you scold a cat, they're a cat.
Yeah.
If you're nice to the cat, they're still a cat.
Yeah, they're still a cat.
But the dogs do sense it, and I think they sense like when you're out somewhere, and maybe with Daisy or now with Casey, and you're with somebody that you're comfortable with, they're comfortable. But when they sense something like some bad person,
or they sense you think they're bad people,
you can see their tail.
Right.
Their tail holds a certain posture. The hair in their back may rise a little bit.
Yeah.
So
and that's again, that's the scientific.
But yeah, it is. And the dogs have work. You're talking about cats and their eyesight. Dogs have that sense of smell. I mean, heck, they're using dogs now for COVID protection. I mean,
I've always thought that was pretty incredible. They can smell like cancer or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one thing where like you see cadaver dogs.
Have you ever seen a drug dog work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
We used to have them come to my high school back in the day, and we didn't have anything crazy. I mean, it was just.
It's a game.
But
for them, it's a game.
That dog would, and I happened to be, let's call it study hall during that time frame, and so I'd be out and about watching, and the dog would just be walking down the hall, and because there was locker after locker, and then boom, he just stop and look at it, and they knew.
Well, when you watch those shows like Animal Planet, and they'll show like tracking dogs, whether it's for trying to find somebody or narcotics, or the cadaver dogs that find the submerged bodies on the battlefield.
That's incredible.
So they do the animation. They have the real photograph or the video running of the dog walking through the woods, and they said, "This is what you see," and you see the dog walking through the woods. This is what the dog sees, and they're actually following the particles of scent in the air. So they're just following a trail of in the air,
and
it contains that odor, that aroma.
The funny thing is, that's what we think they see. We don't know that with 100% certainty.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's the point.
But I think they probably have like placed enough. Like if they're marijuana dogs,
right?
The trainers are probably just holding the pot like that through this open area and seeing which way the young dog, because typically they're younger dogs they train, follow. The ones that I found was amazing, and I saw this firsthand back in was it 2017. The disappearance and eventual death of Mariah Woods in Jacksonville, the 3-year-old. They thought that they thought she was close to home in some creek and water, and there was an overpass on 17 just when you passed the New River Air Station, and the whole week was beautiful weather-wise. And I see all this law enforcement activity on this water, and I went down to the embankment. I was the only reporter there. And it was quiet, and they had a little John boat with like 3 deputies in it and a dog on the bow, and the dog was just hanging over because it's trying to find that. It turns out that was pretty amazing to watch them.
Not to pivot off of something very serious into something not. That leads to my favorite. My favorite scene in a movie, quite possibly, is Cool Hand Luke when they're coming with the dogs. And he stops and talks to the little kid and tells him he wants to, and puts the pepper down. I love that. Them dogs are tracking him, man. Yeah, I've always found that pretty amazing.
Well, I can take my Casey through a path that over at the 4-H camp, and I think she could do it blindfolded.
Really?
Because she smells the footpath. That not only humans are probably walking on, but probably some animals as well, deer and all that. So she can just maneuvers her way through or I keep her on a leash now, but she can guide me through the path. She knows the roadmap, and I think partly that is her mind and her eyes, but also smelling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And they can smell she's smelled a snake before I've seen the snake.
Oh wow, that's helpful.
Fortunately, she was smelling the back end of the snake and not the business end of the snake.
Wow.
This was like a 4-foot copperhead. This was big.
Wow.
But scooted off. But we saw.
Yeah, my parents have a beagle, and obviously they're trained. Well, they're raised to do certain things, and that thing catches whiff of catches a whiff of because they have moles.
Yeah.
And if he catches a whiff of that thing,
they're gone.
Yeah, tear up the yard trying to get to it.
Kay's not into moles. She's not really into anything like that.
Yeah, Daisy didn't care anything about all that either.
Even our cats bring our cats. Sonny was a good hunter. He would bring moles back. And
I got one that's a good hunter.
Yeah, Kelly doesn't do much hunting, thank God. But I remember one time, Sonny was sitting on the back porch, the sunny deck, and I was sitting in the enclosed area of the porch, and he's out there. And he's just minding his own business on the top step of the deck, and there's a bush maybe about 10 feet away from him. And all of a sudden, this dumbass bird just flew right at him, and he had his mouth open, and it went, honest to God, it went right into his mouth, and he was stunned. And he's just sitting there, and I wish I could have captured it. He's sitting there with like the bird's head in his mouth, and its wings were trying. So we're like, Sonny, and he dropped the bird, and the thing flew off. So everybody was happy, but it's like, how did that bird fly into his mouth? And he just sat there. It was just like you'd be sitting at a baseball game, and you just throw your hand up, and boom,
I guess the bird thought he was going to scare him off or something.
Yeah, he wasn't moving.
Yeah,
he probably didn't see him coming.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he might not have been. His eyesight might have been a little sketchy.
He was a good little cat. And maybe it was the sun was coming out, so I'll give him that. The sun was in my eyes, Coach.
Yeah.
How many times did you say that in a baseball game? Well, we got to
go.
Bounce out of here.
But you guys have a good, safe holiday.
Yeah, have a safe holiday. If you're going trick or treating, have fun. And if you didn't listen to our news report on CarolinaCoastOnline.com, the State Highway Patrol officers are going to be out this weekend through Sunday, full force, the Halloween Booze It or Lose It. So if you're going to go out and have fun, just have a designated driver. Don't be stupid and drive drunk. We'll talk to you next